Well, Junior, Thomas, he's sitting here, he's, I think, 106 yards to become the all-time leading receiver here at Boise State. We've got so many, 106 short.
Good, I didn't even know that.
Just what he's been able to do this year, I know we talked to him a little bit about moving around a little bit more this year, but he's still been a little bit even more potent this year than he was last year, it seems like.
Yeah, Thomas comes to practice every day. He practices hard. He comes in, he studies film, he works at it, even on his days off, and that's a tribute to him. And those guys in the room, they push Tom. The Cedric Wilsons, the Chaz Andersons, even the A. Killian Butler, Sean Monster. I mean, those guys, they come out to practice, they have good energy, they have fun, and he's a pro about it. He understands he knows when to clock in and when to clock out, and when he's on the job, he gives it his all.
I find one of the funniest things about him is I've heard too many stories where people are like, "Oh, that's Thomas Burbank." They're just like, it's like it's like everyone just kind of underestimates him when they see him out of pads. They're just like, that guy. But
yeah, that's Thomas. Yeah, that's Thomas. No, Thomas is he can be conceiving a little bit. He's sneaky, isn't he? No, he's Thomas is off the field. He's kind of quiet, but he's got a good sense of humor. He's got a good personality. He knows when to crack jokes and when to be serious.
With him, I kind of go back to the softball game, and he's in there and he's taking BP, and he's like asking Joey for tips and stuff. I was just curious. I mean, he's clearly a competitor. Do you have like a memorable story or a funny kind of off the wall story about how or when he competes?
I don't have any stories on the top of my mind, but I got plenty of them, I'm sure. I just got to sit down and think about it. But, every day is fun. It's a pleasure to be around Thomas every day. It's a pleasure to be able to coach him. The last 3 years, and he deserves nothing but success, and he puts in work. You know how it is, man. You put in the work, and success follows. And and through the time, in the last 3 years, he's had his little moments too, just like anybody else, and he doesn't get down about them. He comes back as a competitor, and he makes the corrections, and he knows how to self-correct himself, and I think that's big.
For a guy like him, I mean, you talk about target to catch ratio. I mean, have you been around a guy that has a target to catch ratio that's bordering on as high as his is?
I honestly don't even know what his target to catch ratio is, but I can imagine it is probably pretty high. But it's like he does that every day. You know what I mean? He does it. I mean, we chart targets and catches and drops in practice, and his is always usually the highest. He does it in practice.
But ask some of the guys who weren't here 10 years ago,
right,
about that first Fiesta Bowl. Do you remember watching it, and what was kind of your memories from when you first saw it?
Of course, I remember watching it. I had some good friends on the staff here at that time, and obviously, you remember the hook and ladder play, and then the Statue of Liberty play, and those were the big plays, But this program they built up to that, you know what I mean? They were always Boise prior to that. They were able to get on that stage and showcase their talent and showcase, being efficient offensively and playing good defense, being blue collar, and always admired that about this program.
I don't know if you saw the Notre Dame NC State game the other day. Mm-hmm. It was played in like a hurricane, essentially.
Of course, I watched it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, I know that the conditions probably aren't going to be like that, but there could be a little rain in the forecast here. How can that impact a wide receiver, and what kind of are maybe the things that you teach or preach in those conditions?
It's football, and all of us, for the most of us, have been playing this game since we were pre-teens, you know what I mean? And we grew up playing this game in the mud. We grew up playing it in 100-degree weather, and at the end of the day, it's just football. The more you make out of it, that's where things become a problem.
Do you potentially have to? I mean, you see guys that game, they're taking gloves off, they're putting gloves on, they got towels on them, they're obviously trying to get it in on the body a little bit more.
It's a mental thing, If you make, like I said, if you make more of it, then it's going to be an issue. Some guys catch better with gloves. Some guys catch better without gloves when it's wet balls. all I said, just catch the ball. However you got to catch it, catch the ball. If it's a body catch it. If it's with your hands, catch it. Just catch the ball.
Said started the season off so strong, obviously, at Louisiana, and had a great game against New Mexico. How have you noticed him improve? I mean, he obviously started off on a great foot, but how have you seen him maybe get better?
He works at it. Again, man, it's not about one person in that room. Shed has the guys like Thomas and Chaz to be able to lean on, and Chaz being his roommate. They're always together. They're always in here watching film together. They get with Brett and the quarterbacks and they watch film. They study. Shed has been the same way since day one. He's been consistent, and he shows up to practice every single day, and he makes those. He probably makes more bigger plays in practice than you guys have seen in the game yet. So it's a pleasure to be around him. He works at it. He's a really good kid, and he's got a good work ethic.
You kind of think of like I don't know, a nickname or anything like that, but he's only been playing the position for a couple of years. But he just seems like a natural out there, like the natural.
Well, yeah, he's God has blessed him with a good skill set. He works at it. Some things come easier for him than they do other people, but there's things that Shed has to work on, that he knows he has to work on, that may come easier to somebody else.
Curious, considering he has only been playing the position for a little while, it's funny, during the game you see there's NFL guys that, scout draft guys, whatever, they're saying that this guy's moving up NFL draft boards already. How much higher is his ceiling than what he's already shown, though, just because he is probably somewhat raw?
So. Oh, he's still he's just scratching the surface. He has a lot of work to do, in a good way. A lot of good work to do. The potential's high, and the bar is set high, and he knows where the bar is, and he's going to keep trying to push it and keep getting better each day.
We've heard some of the players and Brett talk about just kind of this confidence that eventually, one of those other receivers is going to step up and have a big game when someone figures out Spurbeck and Wilson simultaneously. How much of you guys kind of, I don't want to say in the back of your minds, but you maybe know that eventually that's going to have to happen. A guy, like I said, Chaz Anderson's going to have a big game.
Well, yeah, it's by committee in there. It's not one guy, and like you said, they want to focus on Thomas. We have Chaz, we have Cedric, we have Killian Beller, we have Sean Monster, we have A.J. Richardson. The list goes on in there, and they're all itching to get an opportunity. They're just waiting for that time, and they're preparing properly.
What when we mentioned Chaz Anderson, what stands out to you? And it seems like he's kind of the guy who, I don't want to say energy guy. Sometimes that's a backhanded compliment, but he is does seem to be that guy a little bit.
Chaz is funny to be around, and he's a very infectious personality. He comes out to practice, and when he's smiling, laughing, joking around, and playing fast, he's pretty darn good.
With one more about Thomas, with him kind of bumping inside and running more out of the slot, what type of matchup kind of nightmare is he in there for opponents?
That's usually your point guard, right? That's what I call him. They get in the teeth of the defense a little bit, and you'll probably have to ask opposing defenses that question, but. Thomas has a high football IQ, man. You know what I mean? He understands zone coverage. He understands leverage. He understands what defense is trying to take away. He understands the weak spots in defenses. And I think that's a tribute to his background. Growing up and being a quarterback, and his dad being a coach and just being around football. That he's been around football his whole life, so he has a high football IQ.
What has allowed him to bump inside? It's probably kind of obvious, but just I'm going to ask you that. What has allowed him to bump inside?
He's a good football player, and he's a good route runner, and he works at it. The thing about Thomas is if you notice, even in the past, even in 2014, he played inside then too, and he played outside. He's moved around in this system for the last 3 years.
I guess is the addition of having Sed and now Chaz on the outside kind of allowed him to maybe
operate a little bit more on the inside, yeah, but it's all on scheme. We're gonna get the best players and where their strengths are.
Outside those three receivers, obviously, you got Sean having one catch, AJ having one. Surprised that it's like that at this point in the season, or what's kind of your thought on those guys still haven't quite got involved as much as maybe you would like.
They've played and they all gotten snaps, and it's all what the defense is giving us, and we're gonna go to the open guy and more of the weak spots in the defense.
It does seem like you are sprinkling in it might go unnoticed at times, but like Sean gets on the field for maybe like 4 or 5 snaps in the first half, and he'll probably go back a couple games and it was 0. I mean, it does seem like maybe they are getting in there a little bit. And Sean had his first catch at New Mexico. I don't know if you guys make anything of that or not, but
he took advantage of his opportunity. That's all we ask you to do. Be prepared when your opportunity comes, and he has. For example, last week, Chaz, I think he may have had 2 catches, right? But he played a lot of snaps. And when unnoticed, Chaz probably played one of the better games he's played without the football. Run blocking, coming off the ball explosively every time, affecting coverage. I mean, that was one of the better games I thought Chaz has played. But it goes unnoticed because it's